but it's okay because I look a hot mess, even though I have my hair in a ponytail and I kind of just woke up. I'm not going to turn the light on, but I am going to talk about my story. I am going to post pictures because I have been taking a lot of pictures because sadly Liam is not going to be coming home with us because he is in heaven. So I do want to, while it's still fresh in my mind, talk about what it was like to have my labor and delivery. At 25 weeks and 3 days, I gave birth to my son Liam, who is a stillborn, because at 25 weeks and 2 days, I went to my doctor's appointment and I expressed my concerns to her about all of the things that I have been going through the last couple of weeks with my pregnancy. And also at that time, for 3 days, I felt like I didn't feel him move as much as I had been feeling him for the last 2 weeks, basically, when all of this stuff started happening that I will talk about in a minute. So she had put the Doppler on my stomach in the office and she couldn't find his heartbeat. So she said that that was alarming to her and she was taking my concerns into consideration as well. So she asked if there was a lab technician ready and available to get me in the room. So there was, and we went in the room and the lady put the ultrasound thing on my stomach, and as soon as she put the thing on my stomach to get the ultrasound, it was very different from all the other times I went in to get my ultrasound done, because there was no movement. As soon as she put the thing on, I saw there was really no movement. And at first, when she first put it on, I saw his head. It was his head. He was head down. He's been head down this whole time, honestly. And she moved it a little bit over and we saw his body. And again, there was stillness. Every other time I had my ultrasound done, the first thing I saw was his movement and his heart. If his hands and feet wasn't moving or his head wasn't moving, I saw clear movement where his heart was, because obviously, being alive, your heart has to beat. So she moved it over, and I saw his chest cavity, I saw his legs and everything, and there was no movement. And I looked at my boyfriend, and I looked at the doctor and the ultrasound tech, and I said, "Is that his heart?" Because I just wanted to make sure, because I was really ready. I was already crying because, like I said, every other time, as soon as I see his chest cavity, there's movement, and it's always his heart. There's no movement. I look over, I say, "Is that his heart?" But I start crying because I already know the answer to my own question. Plus, I already was considering, let the doctor know, because I had an appointment for days way prior to the day that this stuff happened, but they had called me and told me that the doctor was going on out of town or vacation or something. I don't know, but they moved my appointment from August 4th to August 11th. So mind you, what I'm telling you happening with the ultrasound, this was on August 11th. Today is August 13th. I had him yesterday on August 12th. So on the 11th, I went to my appointment, which was originally scheduled for August 4th, but they said the doctor was going out of town, so they moved it to the 11th. And during that time, on July 26th, this is when the first thing happened that made me very concerned about my pregnancy. I was at Walmart with my boyfriend. We were putting our groceries in the car. I was leaning on the cart, holding it basically, but leaning on it because I'm pregnant. And he was putting the groceries in the car. I look up and I see a car literally backing up at full speed towards my boyfriend, the cart, and me. And I have just enough time to scream my boyfriend's name and he get out of the way because he's in front of the shopping cart that I'm leaning on because he's the one putting everything in the trunk. So he moves out the way just in time and they hit the cart and they're going full speed, mind you, hit the cart and I'm already leaning on it. And I'm holding on to the cart because it happened so fast. And I didn't think that they were going to keep going because first of all, we're in the parking lot and they're backing up and they're going really fast anyway. So when they hit the cart where they would have hit my boyfriend, I was sure they were going to stop. But no, we went a full almost 2 feet back of them literally full speed backing up. And I'm just going backwards with the cart in the car. And basically like the handle was on my like rib cavity because I was leaning on it. So I'm like, dang. The car, they stopped after like 2 feet of pushing us back. And when I say us, I mean me and my pregnant belly, my baby. And, excuse me. And the guy, so the guy in the passenger side, I don't know if I said this on YouTube already, but I know I made a video about it because I was really upset about it. Plus, I did file a charge. Make a report, but they can't find the people because they sped off so fast. But I did get their license plate number. But so the passenger of the car, he stuck his head out the window. He was an older white guy. And he said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No." He screams, "Are you okay?" And I said, "No" again. He says it a third time, "Are you okay?" I said, "No." But my boyfriend, he goes, "Yeah," because obviously he's okay. And he probably didn't realize how severe, like, really what happened. Like, what happened. He probably didn't know exactly in the moment, like, he didn't know what to do. So he said, yeah. Plus, this guy is, like, gaslighting us, asking me if I'm okay. And I'm steady telling him no. And he's steady asking the same question. Like I'm saying the wrong answer. So my boyfriend goes, yeah. And my boyfriend kind of tries to, like, calm me down. And as soon as my boyfriend says, yeah, the driver, mind you, I'm telling y'all, he asked me like he couldn't hear me say no. But as soon as my boyfriend said, yeah, him and the driver got, like, the driver never got out the car. But he got back his head back in the window and the driver sped off. And them speeding off as well alarmed me and got me into like the right mode, to where I'm like, oh my God, I need their license plate number. And I was trying to get my phone so I could get the picture, but I was like, I can't, they're going too fast. So I had to memorize the license plate number, and I wrote it down in my phone so that when I make a police report, I have their license plate number, because I don't know anything. I didn't see the driver, even though my boyfriend did. He said it was a white woman. I know the passenger was an old white man, and their car was gray. And right now, at the top of my head, I can't remember the license plate number, but I have the license plate number in my phone somewhere, and also I already made a report, so they have the license plate number too. So that was on July 26th. So on July 26th, I went to the ER, and they put me in labor and delivery upstairs so that they could check on the baby and make sure that my placenta was still intact. So up in labor and delivery, they did an ultrasound and everything, and they monitored me for a few hours, and they said that everything looked normal and everything looked fine. That day was the first time I ever felt my baby move consecutively, like consistently, like all day. He was moving all day. And then from that day, I felt his movements more. So then I was more aware of how he actually felt. Like, you know, when you're pregnant, you haven't really felt the baby exactly move that much, like you're going to get confused of whether like you are having digestive gases going on or if your baby's like moving for real. So after this day, I was very aware of like how my baby felt, where he was at, how big he felt as well. Mind you, I'm 24, 23. I was 23 weeks at the time. Literally just the day that I turned 23 weeks, I believe. So that happened on the 26th of July. Then by August 1st, I went back to labor and delivery to get a checkup because I had felt like I was feeling his movements decreasing, and I didn't like the feeling of that because I was getting further along in my pregnancy. So I went back to labor and delivery. Also, I was sick for a week. So mind you, when that happened on July 26th, I had just started a new job around that time. I was at my new job for a few days because it was full-time, 5 days a week, only on weekdays, no weekends, because it was a daycare. So I got that job on the 20th. I started that job on the 20th, which was, I think, a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that, but I believe it was a Thursday. Am I right about that? I don't know. I'm going to have to recheck dates and everything, but for now, we're going to say that was on a Thursday because I think I started on a Thursday, and I know I started on the 20th. So I had a few days where I was working, right? And at the job, there was a lot of sick kids. Like, every single baby there was sick. Snotty nose, pink eye, literally, there was so much sickness going on. Also, there was black mold in the janitor's closet next door. And also, this daycare is in a building of a school who got shut down because of black mold. So mind you, I didn't know all of this before I went there. And nobody told me when I was getting hired that those were the conditions. And I would have never guessed that because there's nothing but kids in there. So the circumstances of this daycare was very alarming to me, to where once I had started feeling sick and getting congestive issues and respiratory issues, I had told my boyfriend, like, I don't think I'm gonna keep this job. And he was like, okay, I'm fine, do whatever you need to do. So again, I started getting sick right after I went to labor and delivery the first time on July 26th, to where I was like thinking of quitting. So on August 1st, I had been sick for a little bit over a week, and I was pretty much concerned that the black mold was creating problems because I read online that they could cause stillbirth and miscarriage if you have a severe case of being exposed to black mold, which I am pregnant and I am in a place where a lot of people are sick and there's black mold involved. So I came to the hospital to let them know that, and also to let them know that I felt like my baby wasn't moving as much. And this time, they only put the Doppler on my stomach, and the nurse said that the Doppler was picking up the baby's heartbeat in the 150s, so she didn't find that there was anything wrong. She didn't have any concerns. And she said that she didn't find any concerns with black mold either, because from their paperwork and what they found online, there isn't any evidence that black mold or mold in general is enough like to harm the baby. So they told me that I probably was just sick, you know? So they didn't find my concerns valid, basically. And they sent me home. Mind you, this is August 1st. So between August 1st of them sending me home, I ended up quitting my job at the daycare because my sickness wasn't going away, and I felt very strongly that it was because there was black mold there, and also there was so many people around me being sick, and they could have been just sick because they were also exposed to black mold as well. But mind you, I feel like it's too much sickness going on. So I quit my job, and plus they were really rude people. There was like mean girl energy there, and I really don't. I'm definitely not the type of person to stay somewhere that is not like energetically like motivating, and they were definitely like low vibrational people. It was very low vibrational in general, like the environment very low vibrational. So I was ready to quit anyway, but I had some things that I want to do. Like I'm saying, I'm pregnant. It's August. My baby shower was supposed to be on August 19th. Now it's August 12th, and I have my baby and he's dead. Like, I promise you, the last few weeks of this experience have been so spiritual and so, like, I just feel like the most disrespected woman in America really is me, a black woman, because I just went through all of this stuff, and like nobody to have took my concerns like serious, like of what I've been saying. And I just feel so freaking stupid because I knew I didn't like where I was at, because they're racist and rude and low vibrational. But so anyway, let me get back on the storyline. So mind you, I'm thinking these days that all of this stuff is happening, and that I'm in labor and delivery. I'm thinking, okay, I have an appointment with my OBGYN on August 4th, so I'm going to just tell her. I'm going to just tell her all of my concerns, and I'm going to, like, get her to check me out, okay? So then her office calls me and tells me that they switched my appointment from August 4th to August 11th because the doctor was going to be out of town. And obviously, what can I say to that? No, tell her don't go out of town. No, I was like, okay, okay. I got to reschedule. Like, I got to put it in my calendar that I don't have an appointment on the 4th and it's going to be on the 11th. So during these 3 days, so mind you, before the 11th, so it's the 10th, and 3 days before that, basically, I was still feeling like on August 1st, I was feeling like the same decreased movement that I was feeling that day and around that time, it was still the same. And I was like, I don't feel like I felt my baby move as much as he should. The day that I got hit with the car in the cart, he was moving so much. He was so active. And then the day after that, after I got sent home, he was very active. So I'm thinking, okay, I just went to the hospital. They just told me that my concerns for me being sick and being exposed to black mold and showing all of the respiratory symptoms of being exposed to black mold that it says, and also me telling them that my baby didn't feel like he was moving as much, they sent me home talking about his heartbeat is in the 150s, it sounds fine, and that basically they feel like I'm overreacting and I just probably need some rest. So I'm like, okay, let me stick it out until the 11th, because on the 11th, I'm going to just go to my doctor's appointment at 9:45 in the morning, and I'm going to tell my doctor. So I'm telling my boyfriend on the 10th. I'm telling him on the 9th. I'm telling him, like, babe, can you feel my stomach? Like, tell me if you can feel Liam moving. He felt my stomach, and we were getting confused of my stomach getting hard and being able to find out where he was with him being okay and him being, you know, alive or something. I don't know. This is my first time. But so those 3 days where I'm saying, well, I will tell you when I went to my appointment, what I told my doctor when I saw her finally. Me and my boyfriend were doing I'm gonna lay on my back and we gonna see if my stomach get hard so we can find him where he is at, okay? That kind of thing. We were doing that. And every time I would lay on my back, when I would press it, because it would be soft and I couldn't find him. But I knew if I laid on my back, it would get harder eventually to where I would know where he was at. So I kept doing that, and I would have my boyfriend feel and check. So we were getting confused those days, thinking that that was meaning he was okay. So since I had a doctor's appointment the next day, when it was the 10th, I was like, he was asking me if I wanted to go to the hospital, and I was like, no, we have an appointment in the morning. We could just, wait. It's okay. So again, on the 11th, 9 o'clock, we wake up. I'm talking to baby Liam, telling him we finna go check on him. And we get to the appointment, and I told her, like I already said, I feel like I told her, I haven't seen you, but the last few weeks, she read my medical records. Obviously, I went to the hospital, so she read the fact that I had a little car incident, and then I also had another checkup and being exposed to black mold. So we caught up on that, and then I told her, the last 3 days especially, I've been feeling really off, and I feel like I haven't felt my baby move. So again, she put the Doppler on my stomach, and unlike the people putting the Doppler on my stomach on the first, she couldn't find his heartbeat. And then she told me that that's not normal for her to not be able to find the baby's heartbeat with the Doppler. So she said that she think my concerns are very valid. Again, she called for her coworker who was available. And again, we went in the room. She put the Doppler on my stomach. Baby wasn't moving. She put the heartbeat thing on. I also saw on the monitor that his heart wasn't beating. And I just started crying and asking her, is that his heart? She did the little thing to make sure. And it was a flat line. So baby was dead. She turned the screen off and she said she was sorry. The doctor said she was sorry. And I said, is there a way that his heart wouldn't be beating, but if we get him out, he would be okay? And they said no, that she saw and noticed that his chest was raised, so she feels like that he hasn't passed away for over 24 to 48 hours. So then she asked the technician to check again and take his measurements to see when he has stopped growing. Because this whole entire pregnancy, my baby has been exactly on time with what his measurements have been exactly on time with what my last period said he would be like around the ages. Like, he's been on track this whole time. And even at his 20th appointment, he was measuring a little bit. No, not his 20th. His 20th, I think. When we did anatomy scan, he was like 1 day ahead. But this whole entire time, he's literally been right on track with his scheduled due date and everything. So she did the measurements, and mind you, again, at this day, I was 25 weeks and 2 days. It was the 11th. So she did his measurements, and she said that his measurements measuring him at 24 weeks and 6 days, which was 3 days prior. Which, again, I said the last 3 days, I haven't felt like my baby was moving as much, So she goes, like I just told you guys, she goes, she was like 3 days ago. So basically when you felt like you stopped feeling him move. And so I was like, wow. And she was like, obviously I'm crying. My boyfriend is crying. He's just like, he's going through the shock of everything, because, this is his baby. This is both of our first baby, his son. And we're just bawling. They're crying too, because we all I had a little bit of a feeling, and I was trying to tell myself not to think those things because it was very negative, but my feelings felt those things this time. And even during those 3 days, in which that's why I started having this feeling. During those 3 days, my boyfriend, he was having restless nights, and he was feeling loopy at work and stuff, and he was telling me these things, and I was kind of like, so this puts us at Tuesday, August 8th. Which, August 8th, if you're a very in tune person at the moment, we all know that's the Lionsgate portal. So the Sirius star and all of that kind of stuff. So we all know, like astrology, there's symptoms that you have that you don't really recognize until like you actually start studying astrology, that you have these symptoms because of the alignment in the stars. So those 3 days that this stuff is happening, like there was a lot going on mentally for us, to where when I started feeling the baby not moving as much, it was kind of like, give it a time, because every time I've been to the hospital, they keep on telling me like, oh, drink a cold drink and then lay on your stomach and do the kick counts or whatever. Which even then, when they was telling me that, when I did that, he didn't do what they said he was supposed to do. So that's why I went to the hospital anyway. But they kept telling me he was fine. Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Sadder because I know that when I go home that he's not going to be next to me. I've been feeling okay the last few days, because he was inside me, then he came out and he's been next to me. But now it's like kind of like getting more real. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm a little bit sad, but I can't change it. So it's like I don't want to feel sad. Like I don't want to feel sad about it continuously, because like I know like it's like, but I know also I just need to get the emotions out. Like I can't like just bottle them up. I need to like get them out in a like controlled way and like release them in a good way. But other than that though, I feel okay. I feel like my body is handling it pretty well. I don't know if he's handling it too well, but I feel like we're both trying to be strong for each other, and then like we're both going through it too at the same time. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, this is where I think Julie's help too on the outpatient side will be very helpful to you. Mm-hmm. So I know she plans to reach out to you tomorrow or Tuesday to check in with you, because you guys are certainly going to need some grief support and counseling. Yeah, because you don't have to be strong. You need a safe space where you feel like you can just kind of vent and cry. And I know you two are super supportive of each other. That's very obvious. But just don't feel like you have to be so strong that you can't feel what you need to feel. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can take your time today too. I mean, there's not really any rush. I will get everything squared away so that when you feel ready to go, your discharge stuff is in order. If you elected to stay until tomorrow, I think we can do that. Like I was mentioning yesterday, it was kind of more of like a rooming in status, where you sort of use this more like a hotel room, if you will. Okay, I'll leave that up to you. I think what you're battling with, at least by your description, is sort of prolonging the inevitable. At some point, he's going to have to leave your side, and that's just hard for you to. You feel like you're having to make that call,
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
And I will want to see you back probably 1 to 2 weeks. I certainly want to keep a close eye on you with your mood too. Depression is pretty common in the postpartum period, and especially when it's coupled with losing your baby. You may struggle with some mood changes. So I just want to be able to keep a close eye on you, and if you feel like you need more help with medication, we can do that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
How do I for his autopsy, like do they already know, like do they just check everything, or like can I tell him, like ask him to check a certain thing?
I don't know about that. I can tell you that they're aware of the recent stuff, the abdominal trauma that you had on July 26th. the coroner, is the abdominal trauma and then also the black mold exposure. So they have some clinical background to be looking for anything that may give them information as to if any of that could have been potentially linked to the cause of death.
Okay.
I called and spoke with the coroner last night to let him know about you. And I guess I think he's called up here this morning. I'm just going to tell you this for what it's worth. He's a little bit worried about the amount of time the baby spends in the room.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Because it can alter the outcome of the autopsy just because time is lapsing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was telling my boyfriend that. So actually, I don't want to let you guys take him before he come back, but I was like telling him like I want them to have him sooner.
Yeah.
Like we holding on to him, but like I do want him to be preserved.
There just may be some issues with how they interpret the tissue because your baby's been in here. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I think you just have to decide what your heart and soul needs more. Does it need the time with him or a potential increase in the chance of answers? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and there isn't a right answer there. It's going to be different for each person. But
so you had told me like you was going to ask the pathologist about his umbilical cord.
Yeah, the placenta will go. They'll look at it. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Now that piece will probably be back in a day or two.
Okay.
I'd expect I'll have that back by the time I see you in the next week or two. The autopsy takes like 6 to 8, sometimes even 10 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, it does take quite a bit of time to get the report back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Sure is. Sure is.
It's crazy how fast you forget about the pain. Because I remember when I was feeling basically when he came out, I was like, oh my God, I can never do this again.
Mm-hmm.
But then now, because like we're not taking him home, it's like I want to do it again because like I want to be able to take him home.
Yeah.
But also I don't know if I will because that was very intense. This experience is kind of like.
Yeah. But you realize how brief it was. You know what I mean? Like in the grand scheme of things, it was a short period of time that you were really puffing and struggling with pain control, and then it was over. You know?
Yeah. I felt like I was about to explode.
I bet you did.
Yeah. And it's crazy because he's not full term, so it kind of makes me nervous, like, because I want to do it again, and I do want it to go the right way next time. And it's like, well, can my body do it for real? So I don't know.
Well, I think you just proved to yourself you can. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. If you need anything, let Megan know. They'll track me down, okay?
Okay.
All right. Otherwise, plan to hear from Julie in the next day or two, and then we'll get you set up to come see me in the next week or two. Okay?
Yeah. Also, I don't feel like I'm bleeding as much. So is that a good thing?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
You may notice your milk comes in, and I know you were kind of talking about how I think you've been leaking.
Yeah, my boobs.
Your milk may completely come in. Just wear a tight-fitting, supportive bra to kind of help that resolve.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yes, you take care of yourself, dear, okay?
You too. I like your hair like that.
Okay. And give your man my best, okay?
Okay.
And big hug for me.
Thank you.
Yep.
So, I didn't know that was about to happen. But that was actually my doctor. Oh my God. Y'all, I am so freaking sad. I don't even think. I don't even think sad is the word. I don't know. like all the upset words basically. Like I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm frustrated, I'm heartbroken. And I feel like I had a dream. I had told my doctor. So before all of this stuff happened, I had told my doctor that I had a dream that they told me my baby died when I was 16 weeks. And she sent me to who she would just referred to, Julie, the therapist that is at their office, and she sent me to her to talk to her because she was like, it just is, it's posterior, or wait, what did she say? It was like post no, not post, prepartum, like prepartum anxiety or something like that. I forgot what she had called it. Like she said that basically it was like the anxiety when you get with your hormones when you're pregnant and stuff. So she was like, I'm gonna refer you to her because you might just need somebody to talk to. You probably your mind is like hormonal. So I had told the therapist the dream that I had. Like I had explained to her what happened and everything, and she was like, "Oh," and like I had told her like I'm not I'm not I'm not the type of person to dismiss dreams because I've had a very important period of my life reflect dreams that I've had, and that's why I will never ever not take dreams seriously. So, hi babe. It's going. She did tell me though what I was trying to tell you yesterday. She said that the coroner, he kind of has like a problem with how long the baby haven't been to him to like do the autopsy, because he said that it could change or alter the results with the skin tissue and everything. But I don't think his skin has anything to do with it. So, but you know, they did tell us though, like we can, however much time we need, we could just spend it with him. But we can, it's okay. I'm just getting my emotions out, babe, so that I don't have them bottled up, okay? But like, so yeah, I don't dismiss my dreams because they do be coming true. I'm gonna post pictures later. I'm gonna post again later.